All right, everybody. Hey, welcome. This is Peter Wolfing, and I'm going to give you another video here today. And it's a beautiful, beautiful spring day here in New York City. As you can see, many of the artists are out today. And I know for a fact that this gentleman comes out here at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning just to get this spot. But what happens? He's basing all of his money on what he does and not leverage. Imagine if he was able to have thousands of himself all over the world doing the same thing. That's what we call leverage, and that's what our business is all about. What I wanted to talk to you today is about fear. Are you letting your fear dictate how much money you make in your business? People, as far as a human nature, are fear-based. What I mean by fear-based is most of our decisions are based upon fear. Life's decisions. Should I ask that girl out? Shouldn't I ask that girl out, right? Have you just never asked that girl out that you wanted to ask out, and you know, you wonder what would have happened if I would have or could have, and you never did. You know, as far as your business is concerned, are you afraid to pick up that phone? Are you afraid to do that presentation? Why? Because we're fear-based human entities. And so many of our decisions are based on the fear response, the fight or flight. Well, maybe not that drastic, but it affects your income drastically. It affects your income drastically. So, what are we going to do about that? Well, first of all, we got to think about, you look at your business and you got to think about what amount of income do you think you're losing because of this, right? How many phone calls didn't you make? How many things are you doing that says, oh, I'm being busy, when it's really because you don't want to make that phone call. You don't want to call those leads up. Maybe people went to your lead capture page and you never called them. I can't tell you how many times people have generated leads using my system and they just will not call them. They just hope they're going to sign up without any form of contact whatsoever. They don't have to speak to them. Right, so they don't want to speak to the people, and they're just hoping that they sign up by default, right? So that's if you're going to do that, you have to do so much volume to overcompensate because of that. There's a saying that says, if you want to be able to go out and contact more and more people, or the further you get away from belly-to-belly contact with people, the more you have to compensate with volume, right? So if you're willing to have some form of contact with people, then you have to have, the willingness to do this, and your income rate is going to go up accordingly. The less people you need to contact. Now, I like to do the automated way, but I also like to put in the human element in there, and that's going to increase your income so much. If you're willing to follow up with your people, your contacts, I can guarantee your income is probably going to go up about 30% right off the bat, because successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. So if you're basing your income on fear about what you're willing to do or not do because you're just afraid to talk to people, well, if you're willing to just base your income on that, well, that's what it is. But if you can get over that fear of picking up the phone and actually talking to people, your income is going to skyrocket. Now, think about that for a second. Many times with lead capture pages, the people said, I'm interested, tell me more. Well, why won't you call them? Why won't you call them? Think about that for a moment. We got to get yourself over that point where you just don't care what other people think, right? So what? What are they going to say? No? You got to get to the point where you're giving them a gift. You're giving them something truly extraordinary, and you believe what you're giving them is really helping them. And then if they say no, well, hey, it's their problem, right? They're just not in the right time in their life to take action, right? It's not you. It's what you're offering that is not applicable to them for that specific time. It may be tomorrow, maybe next week. Maybe they just had a bout with their spouse or something. You never know, right? I have people that have been following me for years, and now's the time for them to join. I just had someone say that just last week. I've been following your emails for years, and now's the time for me to join what you're doing. So, you know, it's all about timing with people. Is it the right time for them to do it or not? And it's almost like no matter, you can't say something wrong, you know, but you have to be able to go and throw the line out there and be willing to talk to people. And the more you can go out and talk to people and get past that fear, the more income, your income is going to go up. So, you know, think about that the next time that you're just, you know, the phone's just feeling like a 1,000-pound elephant, maybe a 2,000 or 3,000-pound elephant, and you just do not want to pick up the phone because you're like, oh, your heart starts to palpitate, and you start to think, oh, what if they say no? What if a person's a jerk? Or what about this? What about that? Right, but what if the person's your next grand slam? What if the person is going to generate you $10,000 a month? Wow, you ever think about that? And because you didn't make that phone call, that's income for you and your family that you're not going to get. Right? Think about that, because in networking, it just takes one individual to make that kind of money for you. One individual to make that kind of money for you. I know a gentleman, he's a friend of mine, he found one person in Long Island, just outside New York, and they know people in Japan, and his company was in Japan, and guess what happens? Now he makes $10,000 a month because of Japan, because of that one person. That's the wonder of network marketing. But if you don't make that phone call, follow up with that lead, contact that warm list that you have, you know, those lists of people that you have at least some form of contact influence over, maybe some form of trust level, right? Those types of people, you never know what'll happen at that point. I'm part of the NFL club, no friends left. I gotta tell you, you know, it may or may not be for them, and you can't judge a person from the outside, but if you don't bring it up to them, you know, if you start, put it this way, if you start doing really well in your business and you're making $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month, and your friend says, hey, what are you doing? Hey, I'm doing this business, I'm making 50 grand a month. If I was your friend, I'd be pissed. I would be pissed. How come you didn't tell me this before, right? Oh, I wanted to wait until I was successful. Oh, come on, you know? So why don't you just tell them about it now and rely on maybe three-way calls and edifying your, uplining your sponsor for some kind of success, so that this way you can get started and at least introduce them. If they say no at that point, at least you told them. And then when you're making 50 grand a month, you go back and say, hey, I told you. And during that process, you're dropping little information bombs on them, right? And maybe they'll come around next month or 2 months from now, 3 months from now. But if you never told them, guess what happens? You can't make the income. If you don't buy the lottery ticket, how are you going to win the lottery? Well, buying a lottery ticket just comes down to picking up the phone and calling people. It could be people you know, it could be people that you don't know through lead contacts and lead generation. Every one of the people that's a lead for you, whether they're warm or cold market, every one of those people are a potential lottery ticket for you. Some people come up are going to make you $5, $10, $100, $1,000. Some people are going to win you the jackpot. But if you don't buy the lottery ticket, how are you going to win? Well, buying the lottery ticket is contacting people, calling them up, and following up with these people, right? So you got to get past that fear if fear is holding you back. Call these people. Come on now, I know you can do it. Call these people. Your income will skyrocket accordingly. So this is Peter Wolfing. Hope you got some information out of this. It's going to help your business. Look forward to seeing you on another video. Bye for now.